mate, my crew was pretty full on. My crew, you know what I mean. From a young age, all we'd do was surf in the morning. As soon as we're out of the water, we're just causing havoc all day, just terrorising the beach, terrorising everywhere. It wasn't too bad when we were younger. The police presence was pretty heavy, but when you're young, you sort of get away with a bit more. Like there wasn't one area of that beach that we couldn't run from the cops. You know, we used to backyard jump every area we used to know. But mate, you had to hold your own down there. You couldn't just come down there. It just spit you out, mate. If you couldn't hold your own mate, you couldn't prove yourself, it wasn't the place for you. We've had surfing, fighting, not being there with your mates. No matter what, you have to be there with your mates. No matter what the circumstance is, that's the way we were brought up. You never backdoor your mates, you never shit yourself. We got brought up with like the old school morals, you know, you don't give no one up. You know, you cannot be a dog down that beach. So, mate, like growing up down that beach, like I said, mate, you at some point you'll get put to the test. You know what I mean? Whether there's 20 of the boys standing on the rock saying you got to get out and big surf, you got to get out there, or mate, we've had times where we've had blokes, mate, me and my mates left the house, we've had blokes try and run us over before. We've had blokes ring us up saying they're coming down to meet us. We've been down there, and as we've gone the run up north end of Maroubra, bang, they're all standing there with poles. So what do? You're not going to fucking run and shit yourself in your own beach. You've got to have a go. You know what I mean? So you get put to the test, mate. And if we look around, you're not with us, well then you're not one of us, sort of thing, mate. So yeah, but it's not. You have your good times too, like the parties down there, and the banner. Like we have a surf comp. You know what I mean? We have a surf comp down there. So that last month, every Saturday, the last Saturday of every month, we have a surf comp, mate. It's North Maroubra Surf Riders. So we get down there. Times have changed now. We've got like a lot of families, a lot of kids in that now. But back then it was hectic, mate. There was no kids. No one had like, you know, families. So we'd go down there, you surf all day, and at the end of the comp, you know, whoever's got to the final, they'd make you have a dance off. So they'd throw the beats on until the boys got to have a dance. After that, they'd put the gloves on. So you've been 14, 15-year-old, you got hundreds of the boys around you, got the gloves on, you got to go hammer and tong, mate, you know, in front of all the boys. Like, see, things like that, I think stuff like that make us into the men who we are now, you know. In Maroubra, there's always a generation. So, like, there'll be a generation, then there'll be another generation, then another generation, then another younger generation will come up, and that just keeps turning. So before Bra Boys, there's always been, you could say, Bra Boys. You know what I mean? Blake, just because they don't have the tats, but in the 90s, the early 90s, I think it was 93 or 94, there was heaps of like gang violence back then. So there was gangs coming from other beaches, other areas, fighting. So I think a few of the boys said, if you're solid and you're down with this, you'll get the tat. You'll get we'll be the fucking Bra Boys. So Bra is Maroubra, and at the end you got BAR, so Bra Boys. So it started back from that, and that must have turned into 10 of them, 20. Then it skyrocketed. There'd be 200 of us now. You know what I mean? So growing up, you hang down that beach, all you want to be is a Bra Boy. You know what I mean? You see the older boys. So we got our handshakes like that. That's our handshake. And we say it's the strongest handshake you can have. So you can't just waltz up. If you're not a Bra Boy, I won't shake your hand like how we do Bra Boys, you know what I mean? So you got to do a good solid 10 years, 15 years with the boys. You can't just rock up and become one of the boys, you know? And if it is your time, you've grown up, you've hung down that beach, you surf, the boys know you're good. The word will get around, say, fucking, let's go. It's called getting scarred up. So when you get scarred up, that's when you go and get your Bra Boy tat, right? So you might say, some of the boys say, oh, well, let's get a few of these boys scarred up. You know, we can see they're solid. So then that will go to a couple of the older boys. You know what I mean? The boys that started, a couple of the original boys, you get the word off them. They say, yeah, no worries, they're good, they're solid. Then we all go together and we go to a tattoo shop, you know, and the boys go in there, they get their tats and that, and there's fucking 50, 60 of the boys out the front of the tattoo shop, you know what I mean? Sometimes the tattoo shops aren't too big fans of it, you know, if it's all out the front, but we're there. You get your Bra Boy tat, and then after you get your tat, mate, it's not so much the pain getting the tat, you gotta worry about looking out that window and seeing all the boys out the front and they're lined up ready to slap that tattoo, mate. So as soon as you get your fresh tat, I know people that had tattoos, they're pretty painful. So after they welt, whatever, you got every single one of the boys just smacking it as hard as they can, you know what I mean? But growing up, it's a big family, mate. You know what I mean? So we got, the media say, brah boys this, brah boys that. There's always going to be that persona that we're no good. But people don't, when you get to know us, a lot of us are just normal blokes and surfers. Yeah, there's always a few bad apples and everything. But mate, we've got lawyers. We've got boys that are lawyers. There's boys that are first grade footy players, big wave surfers, blokes, family men. Just, it's not just that thing, brah boys are no good, brah boys are this. So a few years back, the documentary Brah Boys come out, right? So that sort of put a lot of tension on the joint. Everyone started knowing who a Brah Boy was, you know what I mean? You go down, you go places sometimes, people see you got a Brah Boy, you can feel them looking at you, you know what I mean? People want to know, you get the questions all the time, Brah Boy's this, or, you know what I mean? I'm at work, but are you a Brah Boy, are you? You know what I mean? To me, I'm just a normal bloke. So are my mates. But before the movie, what really brought the copper presence on was the fight the boys had it was one of the boys' 21st, and there was a copper Christmas party. So something happened, the coppers the boys ended up punching the shit out of the coppers, off-duty coppers, and the coppers went away licking their wounds, mate. So then after that, the next day, there was riot squad everywhere in that beach. You couldn't even sneeze down that beach without getting arrested. So if you're a Brah Boy, if you're from Maroubra, this was because they got belted in the fight, just a good stand-up, toe-to-toe sting. Because they got belted in that, their way of getting you back now is, we're going to come down and we're going to crack down on everything. We couldn't do anything. You're walking across the road wrongly, bang, they're pulling you up, searching in the middle of the street. But this is where I was coming up, which brought a lot of heat on me now, because I was sort of getting into trouble a lot. So then this is when the coppers just harass us. Harass us, harass your family. Anyone you have anything to do with, the coppers are going to harass. You know what I mean? So this brought all the Brah Boys, brought a lot of media attention. Then the movie come out. And then all that started happening that. But to be a kid growing up that beach, you go up that beach, you see all the older boys. When you go down that beach, who are you going to look up to? You're going to look up to the older boys above you. You see them down the beach, what they do, you want to do that. You know what I mean? So growing up, that's where the testosterone comes. You want to start impressing, this big surf, the older boys, look, let's fucking get out there. You know what I mean? Or like I said at the Boardriders comp, the boys put the gloves on you. Fucking let's go, put the gloves on. I want to show me, I'm worth it, So I wouldn't change my upbringing for anything. You know what I mean? Like what we have, the ocean, the characters that have come out of Maroubra, mate, it's just, there wouldn't be a beach like it anywhere. You know what I mean? And it's localism. You got to have localism there. So we keep it intact. If you come down that beach and you're carrying on and you're from out and you're disrespecting the job, well, you're going to get dealt with. But in saying that, we have a good beach. We have a healthy beach. It's a clean beach. You're going to be, same as me, I'm not going to go to someone else's beach and disrespect their beach. I'm going to show the locals respect there. That's what we expect in return. That's why we get a bit more publicity, because we don't cop it. If you're going to come down our beach and carry on, well, fuck, you're going to get dealt with, mate. You know. Same as in the surf. In the surf, it's a lot of localism. I've hung down that beach my whole life. I'm not going to let some bloke come in that he's just first surfed there. He's going to get the good waves. Nah, bro, they get to the back of the line, mate. We're going to get the good waves, you know what I mean? So you hear it all the time. There's a lot of thugs out in the surf at Maroubra, which, at the end of the day, just respect the locals. Same as I would to go anywhere else, you know what I mean? I used to have blokes in jail say to me, mate, I'd do anything to grow up where you grew up from. You know what I mean? The life you've got. Look at your mates coming out here, like, they're there for you, like, just the life you have. It's just, I feel blessed to grow up in the ocean and with what we did, you know what I mean?